together. Share.
Get on.
Oh, Johnny, just listen to this. This is our new song.
It's
Welcome,
too good.
everybody, to the Canadian Bro Show. Please listen to our new song for a sec. Any feedback's good. It's on a loop, 32 seconds. It's a little Brit poppy. But if Johnny was at karaoke at the bar close to his place right now, he'd be bouncing. Trust me.
I need a little liquid courage first, though, to do that.
Yeah. Not today, though. Not right
That's
now,
okay.
anyways. That's later on. That's after the show.
It's a very catchy tune.
It is a very catchy tune. And let's just get back to our regular music. And that is the Urban Groove. Welcome, everybody, to the Canadian Bro Show. Very happy to be here. Episode 47.
Good heavens.
Lord. Now, of course, that's just not all of the episodes that the Canadian Bro Show is. We have episode 47 on the first iteration of the Canadian Bro Show, and that is All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. And this is Pauly and Johnny, and the handsome chap to my left and your right is the one and only Mr. John Leister, the co-host of the most of the Canadian Bro Show. Johnny, how you doing, you hoser?
I'm very well, hoser. How are you, Pauly? What's going on in your life?
Take off, eh?
Take off, eh?
Hey, episode 47. We are here, the art of empowered living, balanced wellness, organic vitality, fueling a fulfilling life of energy, health, and longevity. All things
Body,
Canadian with Pauly and Johnny.
Soul.
Unbelievable, Johnny. And this is what we want to talk about today. And Johnny and I are actually the epitome of living vessels.
It's true.
Of the title of this show. We are both 60 years old or thereabouts. It's a number. I feel and look like I'm 45. And Johnny's not that far behind. And we're both on a very similar journey where just a few short years ago, we were bloated, fat, near death, ready to have a jammer. Oh my God. And that is, believe it or not, Johnny, apparently just 6 years ago.
No, that was I'm about 35 in this picture. Smiling on the outside, but screaming and crying on the inside.
Yes. Well, let's not turn off all the people that just turned on the show, even though we're not live at this point. We are filming live. I'm in Kelowna and Johnny's in Vancouver at the Vancouver Library at his own personal studio. Johnny's the only person I know that has his own personal studio in a public library. I don't know how he does it. I think he feeds them beer on the down low. I'm not really sure. That or gummies. You never know these days. But welcome to the Canadian Bro Show, all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. And we're talking about health. We're talking about vitality. We're talking about longevity. We're talking about what the heck are we still doing here? You know what I mean, Johnny? Like what? I'm surprised I'm still here, honestly, because what I started. Anyway, so how do you want to talk about a balanced wellness and organic vitality, fueling a fulfilling life of energy, health, and longevity? What have you done to start that journey?
Well, it all starts with mindset. That's the beginning of everything. And when I was a boy, I was addicted to sweets, as many children are, and that went into my adult life. And I've always had a sort of an on and off relationship with exercise. I've been to gyms. I took karate for 1 year. I did kickboxing for 2 years. But let's say the first 75% of the first, say 43 years of my life, pretty much couch potato, maybe up until about 53 or so. And then I just hit a wall and I started hitting the weights like crazy. I reached a saturation point with regards to sugar. I believe that sugar is absolutely one of the worst things you can put into your body. That's just my opinion. It's based on my experience. Jack LaLanne, one of my all-time idols and role models, he talks about how when he was a young man, he was addicted to sugar.
I used to watch his show on black and white television.
And you can watch his show on YouTube, and I recommend that people watch that stuff because everything that he talks about is nothing but universal truth. I mean, he was really ahead of his time. And he likes to talk about how,
on YouTube, you can see all of his everything.
When he stopped eating sugar, he said it was like an on switch that just triggered in his mind, where he became a much more positive and much more manifesting person. So again, I'll stop pretty soon. It all starts with how we think. And if we think that tomorrow is going to be exactly the same as today, well, then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what we need to do is ask ourselves, is this the right journey for me? Am I on the right journey? Am I on the journey that's in sync with this vision that I have for myself? And my hallucination is that most people, there's a pretty wide variance between the two. And we need to narrow that variance. And the only way to do it is to take those baby steps and to have faith that it's worth the time and the energy. And I've discovered over the last 6 years that I would much rather be a player in the game of life than a spectator.
Okay, so that was a nice opening, Johnny. If you don't mind, let's explore what you just said. Okay. And when you talk about being a player, when did you decide? The big thing with getting people off the couch and getting people motivated and getting people to see their true selves and know what they really want to do in their heart, their mind, their spirit, their soul. It's easier said than done. A lot of people need a kick in the ass. A lot of people need motivation. A lot of people need education. So what happened to you? Do you just all of a sudden, after two 4s of KFC and 2 4s of Canadian beer, that you said, I'm going to have a jammer and die in this couch? Or you had an epiphany. What happened? How did you see the light?
Okay, let's start with epiphany. You know how in movies, the main character will have an epiphany, like Rocky, and suddenly everything in his life changes? Well, the real world isn't like that. I think that many of us have many epiphanies, and it lasts for a little while. Like we join a gym, and initially we join a gym with all kinds of enthusiasm and passion, and it lasts for maybe a few weeks, and then it's too much, and we're too impatient, and it becomes drudgery, and we go back to the couch. I think that's the human race in a nutshell. For me, what really triggered me was loneliness.
In a nutshell.
In a very long-winded, rambling nutshell. For me, what really triggered me was loneliness. I was just spending way too much time by myself, and we've talked about this a million times before, you cut me off at any point, Pauly, but I just came home from work one day, and I sat on my couch, and I can't live this way anymore. This sucks. I know that I'm capable of so much more. So I took a leap of faith. I reached out to God. He answered, and ever since then, I stopped.
Did you say you reached out to God and He answered?
Yeah, I just said, God, I've been hearing about you my whole life. I need your help. I need to have it in my mind's eye that someone loves me unconditionally, accepts me for who I am right now. Never mind the past. There's nothing to be done about it. We all have things in our past that we're a little less than proud of. That's my hallucination. That's done. We have to live our lives in the present because that's where all of our power is. And so I read all these self-help books when I was a younger man, Anthony Robbins and Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, me too, Johnny.
And I love them.
Johnny, we have so many things in common. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
And I would get the tapes from the library, and I was inspired for a little while.
Yeah.
But it was like one step. Sorry, just back. It was like one step forward, 2 steps back.
No, it's a rush. It's a rush that lasts. It's spontaneous. You're into it. You're motivated, and then it dissipates.
It does dissipate, and the reason it dissipates is because our mindset isn't quite what it needs to be. So look, if you're an atheist and being an atheist is what motivates you to be who you want to be, that's great. Whatever works for you. But I'm the kind of guy who needs to feel loved all the time, which might sound a little pathetic to some people, but I think it's universal. I think it's human nature.
And what star sign are you?
I'm a Cancer. I was born July 9th. I just turned 60 recently.
That explains everything.
Of course it does. I'm only 60. You and I, are only 60 chronologically. In terms of who I am now, I'm 6. The John Leister is doing this podcast.
Yeah, you're 6 and I'm 600. Seriously.
Because it was in 2019 that I decided that I was going to accept myself as a child of God, a child of love and creation. And ever since then, at least on a comparative scale, I'm never going to cure disease. I'm never going to come up with a new widget that's going to change people's lives. But I'm much more in sync with the John Leister of my mind's eye. I will never go back to that old life. It is, I always tell people, like a lot of people spend their whole life playing video games. Like a lot of kids who spend hours and hours playing video games.
Yeah, we've both wasted many hours playing video games.
But any of those kids, if they ever asked me for advice, they probably wouldn't, but if they ever did, this is what I would say. You think you're having fun playing these video games all day long? You would not believe how much more fun you'd be having designing a video game or coming up with a story for a video game. And here's the really great part. You can do both. In the Western nations and the developed nations, we can have our cake and eat it too. Just have a little less cake. All we need to do is just refocus.
Or make sure you work out before eating the cake, and then work out the next day after eating the cake. Because you can have your cake and eat it too. Yeah, but it's about balance. I think if you break down, the title of this episode, and it is quite long, but it's very, very succinct and concise, and every word stands on its own merit. But the balance of synergy within those words hits everybody. Some equally, some more, some less. But nonetheless, it is an aspect of if you need to achieve that and manifest a lifestyle that you've been thinking about or dreaming about or living, and it's a progression. The only thing you need to do is start.
Happen overnight. I think that's where people get tripped up.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I want to ask you, Pauly, about your transformation, because we grew up together, and I remember you from Kids High School, and you were in great shape, and you were a star athlete, and then like myself, you let yourself go. What was the implementation?
Well, it didn't quite happen like that. It was over decades of.
You obviously have made a transformation yourself. For me, it was loneliness. What was your motivation to make a change, to make a more positive change?
I was scared of death.
Oh, yeah, me too. Early death.
Yeah, I really felt that in order to enjoy life and vitality and longevity and the quality of life, I needed to rediscover balance, the integrity of all of the aspects of life, and learn to go back to living in the moment, in the second, instead of worrying about yesteryear or tomorrow.
Dwelling on the past. That's a quagmire.
And stay present and find a way to find peace and tranquility and synergy of the spirit and the soul and the mind, and the synergy of the physicality of the vessel. That this vessel that I've been given has been extraordinary, and I'm blessed to actually acknowledge that this vessel needed the work. It's like a fine-tuned machine.
Now, is that when you discovered Buddhism? Is that when you became a Buddhist?
No, that was when I discovered Catholicism. That's how old I was. I was young. I was just a wee lad and I had a bundle of energy, and all of a sudden I learned how to ride a bike at 5. I think I was 5, maybe 4. I don't know, one of those things. And instead of using the brakes, I just jumped off the bike and let it go across the street. It didn't hit anything, and I didn't hurt anything. I don't know. I just went, okay, this is the easiest way to do this. By the way, the next time I got on the bike, I used the brake. It was the much easier way, but
idea.
But it's just, man, Johnny. It's just this fuel, and the more clarity, the clearer the vision, and you take care of the vessel, and you've got the spirit and soul. And it's just, you have to make an effort. You've got to put the work in.
Yeah. Well, we need energy. And if you're bloated and overweight, life is so much harder. Just getting out of bed is harder. You get out of bed, first thing you do is start sweating, or your heart's beating already, and you're not even out of bed yet.
Yeah, nothing worse. Nothing
you
worse.
Can't breathe properly. Yeah, I've had that experience, and it sucks.
But it's so when. What was the first thing that you did then, Johnny, when you had this epiphany, when the bright light of love, the yellow light of God, or the white light of love, or however it came to you, and however you see it to this day, do you remember the first thing that happened to you there shortly thereafter, and what did you do?
For me, it was pretty daring. I started working out and posting videos of myself working out on my Facebook page.
Oh, we all remember, for those that still remember, yes.
And I discovered that I really enjoyed doing that. I felt like I had my own workout show.
You could never tell. You could never tell.
And I felt like my story was not only about my own self-promotion, although that is a big part of it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Johnny, self-promotion? Shameless self-promotion? Come on!
Off the charts. But I like to think, humbly, or maybe unhumbly, I like to think that my story can inspire other people, and I like to think that my story has inspired other people. Because let's face it, Pauly, there are a lot of guys our age and gals, they've thrown in the towel of life. They look at the ship of their life as the RMS Titanic. And I felt that way about myself for a long time. I was stuck in the mud. And also I was addicted to junk food, and I was addicted to movies and DVDs. I just come home every night with my huge stack of DVDs, and I'd order pizza one night.
It's so therapeutic being co-host with you at the Canadian Bro Show, Johnny, because to have you on as like the co-host of the most, it's like every day. It's like going to therapy.
I feel like
it's incredible.
I feel like I'm on the Jerry Springer show right now. And I'd have a huge bag of chocolate chip cookies, and I would eat every single cookie. I just remember like not even enjoying myself. It was almost like a slow suicide. It was almost like I was killing myself in a pleasurable way. And I would have these moments of clarity.
Isn't that exactly what you were doing though?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I would have these moments of clarity. And that's when I would read a self-help book, or I'd join a gym, or get into martial arts again.
Or eat a 24-pack of KFC.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much like 7.
Followed by a 24 stubby box.
Yeah, or I would try to write something.
Lucky bear.
When I posted my first workout video online, I got a phone call from my company the next day, and I remember seeing on my phone accounts manager, computer going, and I lost my mind. My heart was pounding.
They're like, Johnny, could you please put a bra on? For crying out loud. Those moves were, that's why you got kicked off YouTube, right?
I violated their nudity clause.
I'm telling you, it wasn't pleasant. I actually, just to support Johnny, I used to watch him do the workout videos and the cooking videos. I'm not really sure. I'd say the workout videos are probably more positive. The cooking videos.
I had to stop doing that because
I'm surprised he didn't burn the whole building down. I'm serious. It was like
anyway,
I've never seen wieners cooked in that many ways.
When I make your own joke, is that a metaphor? Anyway, when I called the accounts manager,
maybe I don't know.
And of course, my mind was still in a negative place. I was thinking they're going to fire me because security is a very conservative industry. It's not artsy. It's all about to serve and to protect, and it's very serious-minded. And if that's a client has seen this video and they don't like it, and he's talking about God, and we don't like that, and let's get rid of this guy, he's a liability. And so I call my employer, lose my mind. He's like, oh, Joe, can you work an extra shift next week? And so again, it's such an important life lesson. When we embark on a new venture, especially something that requires guts and passion and
discipline,
you have to have your mind's eye that there are going to be hiccups, and that not everybody's going to like what you're doing, and there's going to be some negative criticism. And it's an important life lesson for me at the time. You have to accept that in advance, because
or simply don't care what other people think.
Exactly. Or take something positive out of the negativity. Like when people criticize my writing,
ignore the negativity and take the positivity.
Yeah, well, I ignore it, but I also pay attention to it in the sense that there might be something that I can get out of it.
You know what it is, Johnny, is when you realize on the shoulder, you look over your shoulder on the left or right side, and you see a huge chunk of dandruff, and you think, my God, does that come from me? I don't even have hair. Like, where did that come from? And you don't even know if that's dandruff. It could be anything. But at least you're able to look over the shoulder and look back and go for a brief moment and go, okay, and then move forward. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. So yeah, making the videos and starting to write like crazy, and I've discovered over the last 6 years, and it's something I always knew that I could do.
But did you just, what I'm asking is, did you just wake up the next day and kick yourself in the ass and said, I'm fucking amazing, watch this?
Well, exactly. And also reconnecting.
But you did that.
Yeah, reconnecting with people like yourself, people that I hadn't seen in years, and again feeling worthy, feeling that.
So you isolated yourself as sort of
I kind of cried myself, and I realized that this is not who I was meant to be. I was meant to be a participant in life. And
you were embarrassed. You were hiding.
Yeah, I was thinking about the things about myself that I didn't like, and ignoring my positive qualities that other people would point out to me. Like people would say to me, John, we think you're a really great guy, and I just didn't want to hear it. I was in a state of self-immolation.
You know, it's very brave to do something like that, eh? It's very difficult for most people.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I was just plugged into the matrix of other people's manifestations. You know, some of us just love stories.
Hey, and largely your own. Previously.
Well, that came later, but some of us just love movies and we love fiction. We love those worlds, and it becomes an immersive.
We love creating fiction, that's for sure.
and which is fine. Again, like junk food, like like alcohol, we can enjoy that stuff in moderation. But if the price we're paying is our soul, if the price we're paying is our journey, then that is an imbalance, and we need to fix that as soon as possible, because time is not slowing down, and that has become also a great motivator for me. Getting older for me, quote unquote older, of course, life is not about aging; it's about evolution. Has been nothing but a win, because when I was young, as many of us when we're young do, I took my life for granted. I lived my life as I was going to live 1,000 years. The awareness of my mortality and the finiteness of time, like love, has been a great motivator. And that's why you're doing this podcast with me. Thank you very much, because you could have chosen 1,000 people to do this podcast with. And I consider it a great honor.
Johnny, you were my first choice,
Okay.
and thank God that you did it. And my second choice was the other co-host of the most, Trent Rowley. So I'm surrounded by the number 1 and 2, both one in my mind. And thank you both for that, because to be able to find the synergy of friendship and a camaraderie and just a kindness and generosity of spirit and soul is very difficult in this crazy world. And when you do, you take advantage of it and live in the moment, as Johnny and I are talking about now. Part of what we're talking about this episode 47 about, vitality and longevity and quality of life, and how easy it is to be kind in this world. Go out of your way to be kind. Don't expect anything. Don't have expectations. Just be kind. Make somebody's day. Hold a door. Walk someone across the street. Give someone a hug. Share a moment listening and actually truly hearing what the person has to say. And share that loving, kind, generous moment with somebody can set them off for what Johnny and I are talking about right now, when we had epiphanies, when we had a moment where we were lucky enough to have that moment and to be aware of that moment. And the art of empowered living became absolutely balanced wellness and organic vitality, fueling this fulfilling life of energy and synergy and health and longevity. And that's what we're doing right now, All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny in episode 47. We're talking about what's happened to us. We're not, we're 60-year-old dudes, seniors. We're looked at society as like ancient. But you know what? We're vital. We're alive. We're loving. We're kind. And we're generous. I'm
healthier now than I ever have been in my entire life. You have to live life in the present. That's the greatest.
Absolutely. I mean, and this is the whole story about what we're trying to make the episode today is like, really, it's quite simple. Look at yourself. Take a deep look at your spirit, your soul, into yourself, your mind. And what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Make that choice. Start making those choices. Do it now. And do it the second after now.
And the cool part is that once you start doing it and you discover how much you love doing it, that feeds itself. It becomes a habit. And that's the most important thing. You can't just do it once in a while.
I don't like to use the adjective habit, Johnny, although I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's really about a priority. It's about the livelihood and synergy of life and the balance of the soul and spirit moving forward in every single second, and being aware of it and just being present and allowing the presence of the vessel take you on this journey and enjoy every single moment of it. And in the meantime, feed the soul, feed the spirit, feed everything, feed the vessel. Take care of yourself. Take care of the family members. Take care of your friends. Take care of strangers. Be kind, be generous. You're only here for a short period of time. You don't know. We're all on the clock, as they say. You don't know when it's going to happen. But in the meantime, how do we do that? And one of the things I wanted to talk about, Johnny, was your day-to-day plan. So when you wake up every day, Johnny, and you're on this, and you've had this 6 years now, and I've been at it for my whole life, an athlete, but really, about if I was to use the same analogy as Johnny, I would say that we're almost synonymous in that. About 6 years that I had a couple of very, really important micro epiphanies within that period of time, and here we are doing 47 episodes together, and 78 on my YouTube channel, and 67 on, with All Basketball with Trent as well. And we're talking about this, and this is the symbiotic relationship, the energy, the DNA, the unfolding organically in front of your eyes, second by second. We are experiencing that right now.
Paul should be writing, right, everybody? Paul should be writing books.
I feel it, man. It's weird. Just look at the ticker below, and it just gets me juiced, man. I feel it, and look at Johnny. Look how healthy he looks, man. So, I mean, we're a couple of 60-year-old dudes. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what age you are. The younger, the better, because then you can, take care of the vessel and hopefully enjoy a longer, ride into the, the yellow sun. But Johnny, like, what is the first thing you do every day when you wake up? What do you do?
I slap myself 100 times.
Only 100, bro?
No, I don't do that.
That's a good thing.
I do yoga every morning without fail. I absolutely have to do that for my job because my security job is I'm not complaining. I like my job in case my employer's watching. It's a very physically demanding job. It's not sitting around all day.
Johnny can't share what he does, but essentially he's a Canadian James Bond. We'll just leave it at that.
It's like running a marathon 5 days a week. It's just the amount of steps. All the guards are in great shape.
The Canadian James Bond.
We're like the Navy SEALs of security guards at the site.
The Navy SEAls of security guards.
So that gets me.
Mr. Johnny Leister.
Right then and there. I crank out a few.
Don't fluck with this mofo.
I lift weights once a week. I was lifting weights 3 times a week, but after my injury,
Johnny, a little gun show, so you can show the audience a little gun show.
Well, I'm never going to be Mr. Olympia, but I've got a little bicep action.
Look at for a couple of 60-year-old dudes, we got the gun show, bro. We got it. Anyways.
I crank out some push-ups.
Any excuse to show the guns. Ladies and gentlemen, humility is important, but come on.
I mean, I've been in martial arts on and off my whole life, and so you learn a lot about stretching. So I'm pretty flexible for a 60-year-old guy. And once a week, like I said, I was lifting weights 3 times a week, but after my injury, I reduced it to once a week because I pulled my quadricep and my groin and my
Johnny, nobody cares. Just talk about positivity. So,
what is positive? Because I came back from that.
Johnny's down. Johnny was at one point like 250, and he's down to like $165. And please don't show it anymore. It's like we'd have to do it. Might be copyright infringement. I think YouTube might.
Job of the Hut in real life.
It's. Honestly, I thought you had blonde hair. What was that on top? I don't know what's going on over there. But so Johnny.
Yes, sir.
So you're active. You're active every day. You do calisthenics. You do yoga, and you lift weights.
Yes. Well, I lift weights once a week on Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to go back to doing it 3 times a week, and that's my intention. I'm going to do less weight, more repetitions. I think I was too heavy before. So your transformation.
Well, I started with getting active, and I just found that as a weight piled on, I was like 240. 3 years ago, my last real estate video, I couldn't even I haven't even watched the entire video. It was too long anyways. It was like 6.5 minutes. Who wants to watch some fat, sweaty guy selling a condo? Even though I did, and I got the benchmark for our building at that time. But
you look a lot better now, bro.
Well, let's just say I don't care. I feel a lot better. And that is the world to me. And I'm 45 pounds less now. So I'm down to like 192 or whatever.
Less is more.
And I'm 10 pounds away from when I playing weight when I played professional basketball in Europe at 182 and 183. Of course, they did it in stone, so I was like 11 stone, I think, or something, 8 stone. It's weird. But it was a long time ago.
That's the imperial system.
Right. And it's just, like, can we just have one system and not convolute and confuse everything, please? And so, at the end of the day, I was trying to go back 25 years and say, look, is there a possibility that my body could remember anything and have muscle memory? And of course, I already knew the answer to that because the body's amazing, the mind's amazing, and muscle memory is real. And so when the weight started falling off and I started power walking and then I started power biking and then I quit drinking booze. I did the Mediterranean diet and the weight just fell off. I did about 6 different types of blood tests. We tried to isolate certain areas of the body and work on those systematically, and I haven't stopped 5 years later. And I'm not going to. This is
I want to ask you something that I think we
Sure.
all struggle with. We all struggle with temptation.
Hmm.
Now, the temptation for me to eat a Snickers bar or a greasy piece of fried chicken,
Mhm.
not there. Not even the slightest bit tempted. But before 2019, the inner struggle was epic, and it was just way out of proportion with reality. And that's why I surrendered every time. Do you feel that you still have to deal with temptation? And when you did, when you were younger, man, what was your way of being able to stay on track, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, it's very easy. Is I've been active my entire life, so temptation, it was never to me a temptation. It was more an end result of all the hard work and effort that I put into my life, my livelihood. I went 100% on everything, and I believe that allowing myself, a Slurpee at lunchtime, and getting the extra large one, and then pounding that was my payoff for getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and hopping on my bike and getting to Kitsilano and working out for an hour and a half before my first class every day for 5 years.
Impressive.
But that's what I did, and because it was easy when I was young and innocent. I had so much energy, and my greatest addiction, without even knowing it, was sugar. And going back to your opening phrase, and here we are once again. The evil that is sugar.
Yes, it's the worst.
It is absolutely one of the worst.
I would buy like a huge bag of M&Ms, and
I mean,
go through the whole bag in like 10 seconds.
and you think how bad that is, and then you think about the coloring, the cancer agents, and the coloring of the M&Ms, and how many generations of people that got cancer because of that. I mean, it's honestly, there's a lot of evils in life, but if at the end of the day I can have an apple fritter after doing 13,500 steps, I'm gonna have a damn apple fritter, and I'm gonna have a vino tea. And what a vino tea is I quit drinking, I quit everything, and I allowed myself the opportunity. And it's not, I don't look at it as a vice. I look at it as nice, that it's not a vice. And I created something organic that allowed me to enjoy what some people would look as a nice vice, but I look at it as a vino tea. And essentially it's 15 different types of the teas that I use to take care of the various ailments from parts of my body over a period of 3 years. I still drink it every day. And then when I finish my day after dinner, sometimes before dinner, sometimes during dinner, I'll have a vino tea, and it's essentially like a sangria mix of like maybe rosé wine, a little white wine, a little red wine, and then 60% of the tea with ice cubes and some fruit.
Wow.
And that would be my vino tea. And that, at the end of the day, having an apple fritter and a couple of glasses of vino tea, that was my payoff.
You got it down to a science, bro.
But I don't go out anymore. I don't go clubbing. I don't drink. I mean, it's just, it's okay to pay yourself if that's what you feel you need. But I'm systematic by nature, and so by going through this routine, I have a routine I do every day. And I'll give you the short version, and that is, the first thing I do is I wake up and I have a little shot of espresso. Right? A little Cubano. And when I was in South Beach. And then I get ready, I get my bike, and I fill my water, and I get on my bike and I do 8 to 12K, depending on how I feel.
Do you take vitamins, right? I take a multivitamin.
I'm talking about this is my routine. So I go for my workout, I do my 8K ride. I did 8K today before the show. And then sometimes 10, sometimes 12 if I'm feeling adventurous, but I also have, I think I have a torn MCL right now, and doctor says I can ride my bike, but I can't really do much else. I can't golf, I can't power walk. But anyways, I'm really grateful I got my bike. So I come back home, and then I have my power shake, and my power shake it's like the Frankenstein of health, organic eating, and it's incredible. So this was my power shake this morning. Organic cherries I picked at Michael Pashinsky's house, his backyard. I've got them frozen. I have to pit them the night before. Blueberries, kefir. Kefir, I want to talk about really quickly because a lot of people don't know what kefir is. My mom, when I told her about kefir, she told me about kefir. I didn't know what it was.
He was going before.
And it's fermented milk, usually cow's milk. And it's probiotic. It has millions and millions of probiotics. It's incredible for the gut health and for the esophagus and to help remove bile and just cleans the whole system out. It's like amazing. And kefir is created through fermentation, a process where microorganisms, bacteria and yeast break down lactose, milk sugar, into lactic acid, giving it its characteristic tartness and carbonation, which is really a unique combination. Kefir grains. These grains are not actually grains, but rather a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast resembling small cauliflower florets. They are added to the milk and then left to ferment, initiating the kefir making process. They're nutrient rich. Kefir is a great source of protein, calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B vitamins. It's also known for its probiotic content I was mentioning earlier, which are beneficial bacteria that support gut health. It's so important. Taste and texture. Kefir is typically as a tart, slightly sour, and effervescent flavor, most often compared to thinner yogurts or buttermilk. Personally, I think it's more like Greek yogurt. And due to its probiotic content, kefir may offer various health benefits, including improved digestion, enhanced immune function, and potentially adding in weight management loss.
Dr.
Hello. What's that? Sorry?
I said Dr. Bale is in.
and then adding to kefir, I add shredded flax, hemp hearts, chia seeds, spirulina, beetroot powder, enhanced collagen, electrolytes with collagen, liquid green chlorophyll I use as a shot after that. Then I have a whole organic egg, organic oats, organic banana, mixed organic teas, usually about 15 different types. And then after that, as you mentioned earlier, I'll have my vitamins, and I'll have a multivitamin, which is a vegan-based multivitamin, gluten-free, that's over 50, that has everything you need. Vitamin C, D, E, B, glucosamine sulfite for my dodgy knees, lysine for heart health and for vitality, and cozeine Q10 for the heart, and sprouted classic gluten-free sprouted granola with cherries, blueberries, and banana. Then I get on my bike and I ride 8-10 kilometers, approximately 10,000 steps. Then I come back and have water and electrolytes, stretch, wind down, do calisthenics of 50 push-ups and 100 sit-ups, crunches. Then I do my prayers, my mantra, calmness, relaxation, shower, and that's my morning.
What a slacker.
Dude, I'm addicted to it. It absolutely is.
Sounds amazing.
It's the best way to start a day, and I try to do that 5-6 times a week.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I need to work on. I always feel like I sleep more than I need to.
No, sleeping's good. If you get hours, it's important, right? It's the quality of sleep too, Johnny.
Quality, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I take D3, and which is good for muscle and bones, and I take omega-3 every day.
Yeah, I mean, this is my routine. I've been doing this. Our family's been in business for 7 decades, and I'm just doing it because I'm playing the percentages. Like, there's no guarantee in life, We're here, we look great, we feel good at 60. Let's see if we can have the same conversation in 5 years, and maybe 10, and maybe 15, maybe more.
No, we're just getting warmed up for what's ahead.
Dude, I hope so, man, because I really enjoy it. And I think it's really important that we talk about it, and whether we don't have a big audience or not. I think it's really important that people, if you need to listen to what we're talking about and it feels good and you agree with a lot of what we're saying, you're able to make the choices yourself. You can do it right now. Make it happen right now.
It's worth it.
It's worth every single time you're questioning. Simply go out and do it. Don't hesitate. Just go do it.
Yeah, the difference between doing and not doing is the difference between living and existing. And I spent the first 35 years of my adult life, again, not to be overly self-denigrating, but I was doing a lot of existing. And ever since I reached out to God, I've been living. And the fact that I'm co-hosting this podcast with you is all the proof I need to know that I'm in sync with the John Leister mind's eye. Better late than ever. Better now than never.
Well, glad to have you. And honestly, it's really enjoyable to be able to do this. And at the end of the day, Johnny, it's more than just simply waking up and saying, so throughout the day, when you're working, I mean, what's going on in the mind, the soul, the spirit, right? I mean, positivity in the mind is really important. It's part of the whole longevity. It's about the thought processes and allowing you to be in a place of, what are you in spirituality? You're surrounded by the white light of love. You like to be kind, friendly, and generous.
I've been working security for 35 years plus. And I've learned a lot about people, and I've learned a lot about myself. And I try to treat everybody that I encounter, whether it's a homeless person or the CEO of ABC, I try to treat everybody the way that I like to be treated. I take do unto others very seriously. Now, once in a while, as I imagine we all do, I slip sometimes. I even to this day, and I wouldn't say every day.
Not Johnny.
I do. I'm a little impatient with people sometimes. People ask me where to park, and I'm just like, you've never been in a parkade before? You can park in any space that's not marked reserved. But I think that some people, they ask those kinds of questions because they're lonely. I think that they're looking for some kind of social interaction, even if it's kind of inane. They just want that connection with another person.
I mean, it makes sense. And you know what it is, Johnny, is when they see the white light of love that surrounded you, and you might not see it at that time, they think, well, now there's a nice chap. Let's ask him because he'll probably help us. And that's exactly what happens.
I mean, I take my job very seriously. I like to help people. I like to think that I go out. I don't even beat my chest about this, but I like to think that I go out of my way to help people every day. That's what I'm paid to do. It's my livelihood. And I've worked security jobs where we're like standing around all day or sitting at a desk all day. F that. I would rather die than go back to doing that kind of job. I want to be interactive. I want to be a problem solver. I like dealing with difficult people. I'm good at it. When I approach someone and they got the crack pipe in their hand or they have the needle, and you know in advance that they're going to be difficult. The first thing that comes out of my mouth is like, "Hi, I'm John. How you doing? Don't take this personally. You want to do that? I'll give you 5 minutes, but then you have to go. Now, if I ask you a second time, then we have to call the police. But we don't want to do that because it's a waste of our time." It's a waste of time, and it's a waste of the police's time. The police have better things to do.
Okay, that was Johnny's micro rant into our show of vitality and positivity into a long life. And really, the important thing in John's career choice is not to be stabbed in an alley with a knife or a needle. And that way you can continue being the positivity ray of sunshine that you are. And you certainly are to the Canadian Bro Show. But
Thank you.
What else would you like to talk about in your day's journey? Is there something that I noticed that when you're walking to work, you like to take photos of?
Oh, I don't do that anymore.
You don't do that anymore? You gave up on that?
I bitten off more than I could chew because I'm not permanently, my feet have recovered, but I have to wear 4 pairs of socks now and the insoles because although walking is great, but again, moderation. I was walking way too much and it causes wear and tear on the body.
What was the name of the Dr. Dre song? I don't know if this copyright infringement, but he has a line and he's talking about somebody's feet.
Oh, I have no idea.
And I think it's an NBA player, and I won't use his name, but he said he had feet like biverines. I don't know what a biverine is, but I think it's like a Sasquatch foot.
Okay.
And it's like size 15 to 20, probably with huge.
I have very wide feet.
Yeah, I mean
11 wide. I can only wear New Balance. It's the only kind of shoe I can wear. If it wasn't for New Balance, I need to get.
It's a good thing New Balance makes the shoes for biverines because honestly, have you ever seen a Sasquatch foot? Use your imagination.
I would say one more thing to anyone out there who's feeling like their confidence is low, for goodness sakes, get into martial arts. I don't care. I've been to all kinds of martial arts classes. I've seen all kinds of people way out of shape, couldn't throw a punch to save their life. Martial arts, I feel, is one of the absolute best ways that a person can build their inner confidence. Because if you know how to defend yourself, that is a great foundation for life.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, and the key to betterment is not just physically. Obviously, it's important, and we've been through our physical journey. It's also spirituality, and mental, and sociology. There's so many different ways that one can improve one's life, and however we move our vessels through this sphere that we call life, and however that means to you. We're not here trying to tell anybody. We're only speaking from own experience.
What's worked for us.
And the things that work, and the other is education, and knowledge, and knowledge-based education is really incredible. And hopefully we provide a little bit of some entertainment and a little bit of knowledge and some of our life experiences that we've gone through in 6 decades. It feels like it might be more than 6 decades, but in the meantime,
I think most of us have to go through hell to get to heaven. We need our trials and tribulations in life, because if you took that stuff away, then there would be no purpose to our lives. I don't think we should go out of our way to create those hills. They manifest all by themselves sometimes. But the more positive choices we make, right, the better our mindsets are, then life isn't so hard anymore. You look forward to getting out of bed it shouldn't be a struggle to get out of bed every morning. We should wake up in the morning and just leap out of that bed like Kermit the Frog and ready to face life with passion and cheerfulness and demonstrate to people that life is worth living.
It's a really great point, and I completely concur, and based on my systematic approach to what works for me, that's exactly what I need, is a system. And I enjoy the system that I've created. And I've created the system because it's manifested itself organically to me. It's not just what I want, it's what I need, and what I need to do to make it happen. And so each one of these symbiotic relationships, they're all flowing in the same synonymous energy flow of positivity, surrounded by the white light of love. And that's how I feel. That's really what, in my mind's eye, when I get on my mountain bike in the morning, I do my mantra, I do my prayers every day. Sometimes 20 mantras, sometimes 50. That's what I start my day early. My mantras. Sometimes I fall back to sleep before I even finish my mantra, but then I'll wake up and do it again.
To all our viewers, if you're out of shape, if you're a couch potato, don't think that you have to go on an 8K bike ride every morning, or that you have to join a gym or get a martial arts. Just move your body. Just go for a walk. Do 5,000 steps. See how that feels. You'll feel so much better. When we sit around and we stew in our juices and we get lost in our thoughts, that is a guaranteed road to depression. And I know exactly what I'm talking about, because I've been through it. And when we feel depressed, then the temptations that could really lead us astray from our true selves become, whether it's alcohol or junk food or just sit in front of a screen all day or playing video games all day long. Those temptations become much more potent. But once you start moving, once you start doing, then you'll feel yourself shifting towards the version of yourself that you were meant to be, if you have yet to do so. And you, Paul and I, are living proof that in our advanced years, that again, it's absolutely worth it. And I like to think you and I are setting a very good example for other people like that.
I mean, I'm setting a good example for myself, and taking care of that commitment towards my vessel. And if other people follow and they find, some vitality or refueling or fulfilling life of energy, health, and longevity, it's what we all seek, whether you realize it or not. And the more you do realize it and you start to fulfill some of those things, the vessel feels like a whole different entity.
It's a whole other kind of addiction. It's a much better addiction.
You're floating on the wings of heaven, so to be, and it's quite remarkable. It was kind of like when I played basketball and I would slip into the zone. And the zone was when everything slowed down. I saw the game unfold before anybody else saw it, because I was in a different zone. I was in a different level of consciousness. And what, by being systematic in a daily basis and taking care of the vessel and the mind and the soul and the spirit, you can find ways to slip into the zone, in and out, a lot quicker than you could possibly ever imagine. When you're there, you don't want to leave.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's karma. Seek, cleanse, clear, find balance, find love, find vitality, and hopefully you're able to enjoy a relatively peaceful and healthful long life. And if not, c'est la vie. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining us at the Canadian Bro Show, all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. And we just really very, very happy to talk about this. Johnny and I, we love talking about the art of empowerment and living a balanced wellness of organic vitality that's fueling and hopefully fulfilling a life of energy, health, longevity. All things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny, eh?
My friends, this is not a dress rehearsal. We're on stage every moment of our lives. We're all the stars of our own movies. So let's make our movies that other people will want to watch so they don't feel ripped off.
The heart of the truth.
Did you bring I brought a book today. Did you bring a book? I started reading this book the other day and I'm almost finished it already. War of the Worlds, New Millennium by Douglas Niles.
Yeah.
It's the War of the Worlds set in present day. War of the Worlds have been done so many times, but I think this is the best version I've seen. It's so good.
Well, yes. This would be the third time I bought the full fee agent. Eddie, Danny Romanelli bought it for me. As you can see, it's slightly weathered. I've left it out on the deck, and we've got thunderstorms that come in, and I'm going to finish this damn thing, and I love it. The guys have done a good job. I've done about maybe a third of it. But I figured the more I show it, the more that I need to finish it.
There you go.
And Johnny, before we go, Johnny is famous for his puns.
I have two today. I have a bonus. You remind me of another pun. Okay, this is a bonus pun.
Good Lord.
This is related to our topic for today's show. Did you hear about the fire at the omega-3 factory? The damage was superfish oil. Okay. Swords.
That was pretty good, actually.
Swords are rated on a scale of 100 to Zorro. Thank you very much.
Johnny, thank you. Thank you. Everybody, thank you for joining us in episode 47, a really enjoyable one. It's going to be up in, we've got one in the can, so real estate one's coming out, I believe episode 46. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us. And if you enjoyed this content and you've watched our show before, please feel free to subscribe. We're trying to make our way to 500 subscriptions. We're currently at 75.
Oh, my YouTube channel, 109 subscribers. Feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully you'll feel good about when we hit 500 subscribers.
Even better.
At the Canadian Bro Show. In the meantime, everybody out there, be kind, be generous, and peace, love, and happiness. Johnny, take care, bro. Enjoy the cold ones tonight. Have a good night and good show. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Peace.